Even like in the grocery stores and stuff, people aren't really walking up to each other and talking to each other ever since COVID. And I think that's because of the social distancing that our brain and our subconscious was trained to do during that time. So guys, welcome back to the Dime Trap, where we trap dimes. In today's video, I want to talk about what has destroyed the dating market and the dating game. And I was sitting here just thinking to myself, like, when did everything go bad? And I think it all started when COVID took over. When COVID happened, I had gotten back into the dating world, got back on dating apps and all that type stuff. And when I got back on there, I think everybody was so tired of being in the house by themselves, so tired of just being lonely at home. You had a lot of women who weren't in relationships, so they ended up being in lockdown by themselves. And that shit made it easy as hell. Like, I would get on Tinder and I would get on Bumble. At the time I was living in Houston, I would get on Tinder, I would get on Bumble. And when I tell you, the matches used to come back to 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 back. It was so crazy, to the point where I might smash one chick, she leave, and I have another chick on her way over as the other one's leaving. That's how wild it was during COVID. Because things had gotten so wild during COVID, that caused a lot of women to question themselves and put a shield up. And that's why a lot of these women are claiming to be celibate now. I think that's why a lot of these women are chasing men that they know they can't have. And I think it's all because they caught themselves being too loose during COVID. Another thing that happened during COVID was people stopped going outside. People stopped going to malls. People stopped going to clubs. And because people stopped doing that, they lost their ability to be social out in public. And I noticed, like, with myself, when I used to be in the clubs all the time, it wasn't shit for me to go to the clubs and pull some girls and the girls come back to the crib, blah, 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 right? But the last few times that I've gone to the club, I caught myself just standing there looking around like everybody else. And it's because people aren't being social in the club. People are only sticking to the people that they came with in the club. I think that people not being social for the amount of time that we were stuck in lockdown, it has caused people to mentally be brainwashed into keeping distance from one another. So now it's almost like subconsciously we don't want to get too close to anybody that we don't know.
Damn, I never thought about it that way. Yo ass smart.
So now if you do go to the club, all the girls are sticking together in their section. All the men are sticking together in their section. Nobody is on the dance floor together. Nobody is really going out and about and approaching each other. And I think and even like in the grocery stores and stuff, people aren't really walking up to each other and talking to each other ever since COVID. And I think that's because of the social distancing that our brain and our subconscious was trained to do during that time period. And people said that it would be like the worst thing you could do is separate people. And by them separating people, this is what you get. This is what we're getting in return. And if you really look at it it's not even affecting us as bad as it's affected the kids or the people who were kids during that shit that might have been in high school, that might have been in middle school, elementary school. I'm hearing so many teachers talk about how they're having a problem with teaching these kids because these kids don't know how to interact. They don't know how to do that. So a lot of what's going on, we gotta blame on those years that we were put on lockdown. Whether it's the inability to communicate with one another, or it's trying to make up for the hoish things that we were doing during that time period. And it sucks. It sucks for the next generation. Because the next generation they have no clue to what they could be experiencing in life. They've been so trapped in the house that they're going to grow up and they're going to trap themselves in the house. They're not going to know how to be social at all. It's like I saw a video, I think it was Anton Daniels' video, and they were talking about asking Gen Zers if they would take less money to work from home than to go into the office. And all of them said they would never want to go into an office and have to deal with coworkers and have to deal with managers every day. Where for generations and generations, we never even thought about it. We never thought about the ability to even work from home. But because these people have been trapped in their house for so long, they fear and have anxiety of having to be around people. And that shit sucks. When I talk to people that are in their 20s and I tell them what Atlanta used to be when I was in my 20s, they can't believe it. They cannot believe the things that we were doing in our 20s. And it's because, for one, the parents have hid it. For two, because a lot of these people hopped into their 20s not being able to go out. They didn't have that, ooh, I can't wait until. Like, imagine being an 11th grader or a 12th grader and your friends have turned 18 and they're already going to clubs. And like with us, when we were underage and couldn't get into the clubs because we weren't 18 yet, we looked forward to that shit. So imagine being that age and you not seeing the ones who hit that age go out because the whole country is on lockdown. So that thought of that excitement of going out and having a good time doesn't even cross your mind because you're not seeing the people who are a year or 2 years ahead of you doing it. And I feel sorry for people who are under the age of 18 because the malls have died. Like back in the day, we used to be able to go to the mall and the whole thing was we finna go to the mall and see how many numbers we can pull. But because this generation doesn't go to the malls and malls are dying, they have no way of really communicating with women outside of the damn internet. Because they're not going to the places to be able to meet and be social with each other. They're depending on their Instagram account. And if your Instagram pictures don't look like you lit, the person that you may have DM'd ain't gonna pay you no attention. Where in reality, your life might be lit. You just don't post everything on the internet. The shit is fucked up. I'm happy that I grew up in the generation that I grew up in, where I was able to experience the things that I was able to experience. Early 2000s, all the way up to about 2015, 2016, man, life was lit. Like, we was in the clubs. I was DJing. I was in the pimp game. I was doing everything back then. We was in the strip clubs every day. But this generation has no idea the things that they could be doing. Even when I talk to some of these kids in Atlanta and I be like, why do y'all only go out in Buckhead? Why don't y'all branch out and go to the clubs that are on Old National? Why don't y'all go to the clubs that are in the other areas? And they all say, because we don't know where to go. Where back in the day, man, that shit was blasted everywhere. Everybody knew what to do. There was so much for us to do. Anyways, I don't know if I'm gonna post this video or not, because I done had too many things going on in between me doing this video. But if I do, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll holler at y'all on the next video, because I done completely lost my train of thought on what the hell I was saying. But holler at y'all on the next video. Peace. Try, yeah.